The first thing people noticed about Jefferson Warehouse was the silence. By day it sat like a sleeping giant. Rusted steel doors, cracked brick walls, weeds climbing the chain link fence like they were trying to escape. The building had been abandoned for years, a relic of the industrial age that the city forgot about. But by night, especially that Saturday night, the place felt alive. Shadows stretched across the asphalt like fingers, and the wind carried whispers through broken windows. That particular Saturday, the warehouse wasn't silent anymore. Bass thumped through the walls so hard you could feel it in your chest. Neon lights flickered in shades of blue and purple, casting an electric glow that could be seen from blocks away. Food trucks lined the street, tacos, burgers, bubble tea. People laughed, danced, and took selfies under a massive banner that read, Brooks Graduation Bash. To anyone driving past, it looked like an underground party, loud, crowded, suspicious. And that was exactly how Karen Montgomery saw it. Karen lived in Silver Edge Estates, the kind of HOA neighborhood where every mailbox matched and every blade of grass was cut to the exact same height. She was the HOA vice president, unofficial sheriff, and full-time nightmare of the block. Her husband used to joke that if silence were a religion, Karen would be its prophet. She stood on her second floor balcony that night, arms crossed, sipping chamomile tea from a porcelain cup, staring towards the distant warehouse. The music was faint from here, just a low hum, but it was enough to set her off. "What is that noise?" she snapped, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. Her husband, Greg, barely looked up from his laptop. He was used to this, probably a party, some event rental. A party? Karen's eyes narrowed. In that disgusting warehouse? That's criminal activity. She grabbed her phone and zoomed in with the camera, squinting at the distance glow. Look at all those cars. Look at the people. This is exactly how gangs operate. Greg sighed, rubbing his temples. Karen, it's Saturday night. People are allowed to. This is our neighborhood, she interrupted, and I will not allow chaos to spill into our community. Not on my watch. She opened the HOA Facebook group and typed furiously. Suspicious gathering at Jefferson Warehouse. Loud music, unknown individuals, potential criminal activity, authorities have been notified. Then she dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? Yes, there's an illegal gathering at Jefferson Warehouse, Karen said, her voice dripping with authority. I believe it's a gang related. There are dozens of people, loud music, and they're clearly drinking. This is a safety threat to our community. The dispatcher paused. Ma'am, Jefferson Warehouse is scheduled for a city-sanctioned training event tonight. Karen scoffed. Training? Don't insult my intelligence. I can see them dancing from here. That's not training. Send officers immediately. We have units assigned to that location. Send more. Shut it down. Now. Meanwhile, inside the warehouse, the mood was festive. My name is Daniel Brooks. I organized the event. My younger brother Alex was graduating from the police academy, and the department had chosen the warehouse for a realistic scenario training exercise. It was supposed to simulate a chaotic public gathering, the kind where anything could happen. Half the people there were undercover officers. The others were cadets, pretending to be civilians. The music, lights, and crowd were all staged to create an authentic environment. Even the food trucks were part of the setup, staffed by off-duty cops. I stood near the DJ booth, watching Alex laugh with his academy classmates. He looked happy, proud. Our mom would have been proud too if she was still here. Man, this is insane, Alex said, grinning. They really went all out. That's the point, I said. Real world chaos. You guys need to be ready for anything. He nodded, his expression turning serious for a moment. Still can't believe Mom would have loved this. Before I could respond, Captain Reese walked up with a radio in hand, a smirk playing on his lips. Brooks, he said, we've got a civilian complaint overzealous HOA lady wants the party shut down. I laugh. Let me guess. Karen Montgomery. He raised an eyebrow. You know her? Unfortunately, she lives in my neighborhood. She's called the cops on everything with from kids playing basketball to a family barbecue. Ray's grind wider. Perfect. Let's make this a training opportunity. Escalate the scenario. Karen didn't wait for the police to arrive. She drove to the warehouse herself, parking her luxury SUV directly in front of the gate like she owned the place. She grabbed her phone, hit record on TikTok Live, and flipped the camera towards the glowing building. Hi everyone, she said, her voice laced with self righteousness. This is what's happening near our community. An illegal gathering. The city refuses to act, so I'm here to document it myself. Her viewer count climbed fast. HOA drama always went viral. She walked past the security cones and marched straight into the warehouse like she was storming a battlefield. The music stopped the moment she entered. All eyes turned to her. She lifted her phone higher, making sure the camera captured everything. Everyone freeze. Police are on their way. You're all being documented for trespassing and disturbing the peace. People stared. Then someone started laughing. Then another. Within seconds, the entire room erupted in laughter. Karen's face twisted in anger. This is not funny. You're trespassing, disturbing the peace, and possibly engaged in criminal activity. I will make sure every one of you is arrested. Alex stepped forward, playing his part perfectly. Ma'am, we're just celebrating. I've seen this before. Karen snapped. You think I'm stupid? I know how gangs operate. I know what is this. One cadet whispered to another. Is she real? Captain Reese whispered back. She is the realism module. Minutes later, police cruiser pulled up outside with sirens blaring, but they were part of the drill. Karen ran outside, practically vibrating with excitement. Finally! Officers, arrest them all. They're criminals. Illegal event, drugs, everything. The lead officer stepped inside, his face serious. Everyone, hands in the air. The cadets complied, some pretending to panic, others freezing in place. Karen narrated on TikTok, her voice triumphant. Justice is happening, everyone. This is what happens when concerned citizens take action. Then the officer raised his hand. Training scenario complete. One by one, people started pulling out badges. The DJ lifted his shirt to reveal a police vest. The bartender flashed a detective badge. The security guards clipped on their IDs. Alex held up his academy badge, grinning. Over 50 officers surrounded Karen, all of them smiling. Her TikTok live audience exploded with comments. Karen's jaw dropped. Her phone trembled in her hand. Captain Reyes walked up calmly, his hands clasped behind his back. Ma'am, you've just interrupted a sanctioned police training operation. Karen stammered. This? This is staged? Yes, he said. And you just became part of the training. Congratulations. Someone in the crowd shouted, Karen called the cops on the cops. Laughter filled the warehouse. Her TikTok comments were flooding in. This is legendary. She thought she was the hero. Peak Karen moment. Karen walked out in silence, her face pale, her live streaming still running. By morning, the video had millions of views. Local news picked it up. National blogs reposted it. Police departments across the country shared it as an example of overzealous false reporting. But the stories didn't stop there. Karen had said things on her live stream, things she thought no one would care about. This neighborhood is being invaded. These people don't belong here. This looks like a gang. You know how they are. People clipped those moments and posted them everywhere. Someone dug into her background. She was the senior HR director at a large tech firm. Former employees started commenting. She denied me a promotion for no reason. She fired me after I complained about discrimination. She refused to hire people from certain backgrounds. Within days, her company launched an internal investigation. Carrie tried to defend herself. She posted a long Facebook apology about misunderstood words and community safety concerns. She hired a PR consultant who told her to stay quiet, but Karen couldn't help herself. She went on local news attempting damage control. but the interview only made things worse. I was simply being a concerned neighbor, she told the reporter, her voice shaking. I saw that appeared to be a dangerous situation. The reporter pressed her. But the comments you made on the live stream about these people and invasions, can you explain those? Karen's face flushed. Those were taken out of context. I never meant. The interview was cut short when protesters showed up outside the studio with signs reading Karen must go and HOAs aren't above the law. But the internet wasn't listening. Her HOA neighbors started sharing their own stories. She fined a $500 for balloons at my kid's birthday party. She tried to stop a Hispanic family from buying a house on our street. She threatened to call CPS on my neighbor because her kids played outside too late. The HOA board held an emergency meeting. The community center was packed. Neighbors who Karen had fined, harassed, or reported over the years all showed up. Some bought printed screenshots of her most offensive comments. Karen sat at the front, hands shaking, her voice barely above a whisper. I was just protecting our property values. One neighbor stood up. You tried to fine me because my lawn was half an inch too tall. Another voice rang out. You reported my daughter's quinceanera as a suspicious gathering. The board president slammed his gavel. You embarrassed this community. You turned us into a national meme. They voted unanimously to remove her from her position. 2 weeks later, her company fired her. The termination letter cited violations of company diversity policy and reputational harm. She tried to sue, the court dismissed the case. Her name became synonymous with Karen. Meanwhile, Alex graduated from the academy with honors. At the ceremony, Captain Reese made a joke that brought the house down. Special thanks to our unexpected civilian participant in the Jefferson Warehouse drill. She provided more realism than we could have ever scripted. The footage became part of police training module nationwide, handling false reports and hostile civilians. Months passed. The warehouse was renovated into a permanent police training center. A plaque was installed near the entrance, in honor of realism, thanks to our civilian participants who unknowingly improved training nationwide. I stood there with Alex one afternoon, both of us laughing. Think she'll ever call the cops again? He asked. Only if she's calling them on herself, I said. One evening, I saw Karen at the grocery store. She avoided eye contact, her cart half empty, her clothes less polished than before. Her HOA privilege were gone. Her job was gone, her reputation was gone. As she passed, she whispered, You ruined my life. I stopped and turned to face her. No, Karen, I said quietly. You recorded your life. The world just watched. And that night, as I drove past Jefferson Warehouse, now lit up with police training exercises, I smiled. Because sometimes karma doesn't knock. Sometimes karma goes live on TikTok.